You're listening to Inside the Locker Room with Wimp and Barry Sanderson on Tide 100.9 in Tuscaloosa.
A small chance of a shower, the high 84. And Sunday, a sunny day with a high at 83. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9.
Inside the Locker Room with former Crimson Tide basketball coach Wimp Sanderson and his son, former SEC and ACC assistant basketball coach Barry Sanderson. It's time to take you inside the locker room on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
And good morning and welcome into the Friday edition of Inside the Locker. Been a short week, no Monday show, but we've made it through another week. 4 days of sports talk here on Tide 100.9. If you want to jump in on the show with us this morning, dial us up 205-342-9904. Download the Tide 100.9 app. There's a chat box in there. You can actually leave a voice message there as well. I don't know if we've ever gotten a voice message, but we have gotten a lot of messages on the app. So send us an app. I'll read it out over the air. We'll respond to it on the air here if you want to send that. We want to thank Yellowwood, pressure treated pine from Great Southern. They make this 7 o'clock hour possible. If you're going to build a 5-star backyard, the fence, the deck, the pergola, and you want it to last, there's only one choice, and that would be Yellowwood. Go to yellowwood.com, put that zip code in, and you can find the dealer that is closest to you. If you want to email us, some people like to email, then you can do that at wimpandbarry@yahoo.com. We got Chase behind the glass spinning the records. Chase, see if you can find us some fight songs maybe to bring us back from break today, because it's Football Friday, got football today, and football really gets going tomorrow. The Blue Plate Special will be released later on in the second hour, and hopefully we'll hit it, or Dad will hit it this week. Good morning, Dad. How are you this morning?
I'm doing okay. What we'll do is I'll give the 4 games I think that are important in just a few minutes. And then in the second hour, we have new guests, new listeners every day. So it's kind of it's a tease. That's what it is. Try to tease you as much as we can. And then after that, I will give it again in the second hour. And then right towards, as Barry said, right towards the end, I'll give you the one I think is the best one to go on. I don't know. We talk a lot about pro football. Ravens thought they scored a touchdown to beat Chiefs last night. The officials ruled that about the toe, and so the Chiefs hung on to win that game. Quarterback, continues to play well. I don't have Peacock TV. I'm not going to take it. I'm with everything else about TV. But the Eagles and the Packers tonight at 7:15. If you like the Peacock deal. There are 3 games tonight. I don't know that they're very good games, so I had them on my thing here, and now for some reason I've lost them. Doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I'll pull them up.
Northwestern Duke on there, and had some controversy there. And Western Illinois and Indiana on at 6 o'clock on BTY, which is Big Ten. BYU and SMU. SMU stinks. That's ESPN too. If you have ESPN,
SMU's 2-0.
Yeah, I know. And Duke and Northwestern were on FS1, which is don't matter, 209 at 8 o'clock. So, for what little college football I can watch tonight, that's what I'll do. There continues to be talk of a break away from the NCAA because of revenue sharing. As I told you yesterday, I'm not getting into that because it changes every day, and I can't give you the right answer. Two deals on Saturday for, not deals, but 2 nice things for Coach Saban on Saturday, 2:30 at the Walk of Champions on University Avenue, right across, really kind of across from where my offices were a long time ago. Doesn't matter, I guess. And then at the halftime, they will honor him by naming the field after him. The Big 12 is pausing on their expansion deal. The 4 people, and Stansbury was one of them, and that surprised me. They were fired for cheating at Memphis last night. They got another letter saying that Hardaway was personally involved in the whatever cheating scandal they had. I'm not going to go through that because I don't know it. So he is back against the wall because now they're have him involved very, very heavily in whatever recruiting violations that occurred there. So we welcome you. Call Ron Higgins on today, and I got him because the LSU is always talked about on our show. They got an injury, they got beat. We'll see what the people think about him there. And I don't ever know whether Sonny's going to be on or not. If Tom Nix is on, he probably won't be on. He'll probably be watching the Cowboy movie, but hopefully Sonny will be on. We welcome your calls. Tell us what you think, whatever. And I will, in just a minute, I can go ahead. I'll do it. I'll wait. Let Barry talk a few minutes. Now I'll give 4 or 5 games I think are important, and I'll give them again in the second hour. And the last part of the second hour, we'll name the Blue Blade. It be.
I guess the attorneys from the NCAA did meet with the judge yesterday to try to hammer this deal out, and I'm afraid that $600 approval thing is going to go to the wayside. The judge is not about taking opportunities away. I think the judge wants the boosters to be able to buy these players if they want to. So they told me the judge gave them, I don't know how much longer to go, 3 weeks to go back and come back with a different proposal. There may not be a settlement, which that's going to scare them because the 2 whatever billion could turn into 20 billion. So the players win yesterday. I don't think the judge even knows what she's talking about, but they're going to be able to make money off these collectives, I think, when it's all said and done. They don't ever talk about the scholarship limits and baseball and when do you have to be at the 34 and all the things that these coaches kind of need to know. Of course, I guess they need to know about the money part as well. So anyway, that's kind of what happened there. Taylor Swift did show up last night, but she did not sit with Brittany Mahomes. So there's big stink now about that, saying that there's a rift between those because Brittany liked Donald Trump stuff and Taylor Swift. Like, is that news, guys?
Did the guy that make a girl that made her beautiful, was she with her?
I don't know who that is.
I don't know.
She was by herself.
He was with her. I'm sure she had a knife.
Oh, I don't know. She was by herself. So, and then Travis Kelce got the absolute worst haircut you've ever seen in your entire life, and he dyed his hair black. And then he proceeded to only get 3 points for you fantasy guys. Travis Kelce does not care about football anymore. He spent his whole time traveling around watching her, so don't expect big things from him. All right, to the Yellowwood Hotline, get Super Joe in. Good morning, Super Joe.
Hey, Club, how you feel, man?
Good. How are you, buddy?
Oh, ain't no complaint, man. I'll tell you what, I was thinking about the other day when I was at the Hey Coach show.
Yeah.
I met Kalen DeBoer Coach Kalen DeBoer for the first time.
What'd you think?
And, man, I thought, I'll be honest with you, I think he's more approachable than Coach Saban for you. I'm just being honest, and I could say, and one thing I like, and I do believe Alabama got a good voice, like Chris Stewart being the voice of Alabama, replacing Eli Gold. I don't know what all the reason was, but Chris Stewart is a very good replacement. We didn't hire a stranger, realistically not.
No. Chris has been a part of the broadcast, just not the main guy. He did last year for the road games, but this year he'll be the main guy. I did hear you in this. I was listening to the show. I heard you got the microphone and asked Coach a question, didn't you, Super Joe? Yeah,
I did. I mean, one thing, Kalen DeBoer, the one thing he's a man that knows what he's doing, and one thing we got to be very mindful. We got to let Coach DeBoer be Coach DeBoer. He's not Coach Saban now. Coach Saban gets on his players for celebrating and stuff like that, but Kalen DeBoer kind of recommends it a little bit. But it's a different personality between a right hand and a southpaw. So, because you look at Coach Saban's mind is very defense, Coach DeBoer's mind is very offense. So, you know how. So you can tell there's going to be a little bit of a different trait and a little different policy and a little bit of different, kind of handling. So, but the thing about it is Nick Saban came in here national championship proven because he won with LSU, but now Kellen DeBoer is national championship ready. See, ready and proven is two different things, but I say with Kellen DeBoer, he's going to probably get 3 like Wallace Wade did. But see, one thing about every coach has a different personality. So let me ask y'all this. Now, when Frank Thomas got in, he didn't act like Wallace Wade, did he? He didn't. Now, when Coach Bryant got in, he didn't start talking like Frank Thomas. Gene Stallings didn't talk like Coach Bryant. And so, then what is this? When Coach Saban got here, he didn't imitate Gene Stallings. That means keep the original out there, and we get the best of what we can get.
There you go. Thank you, Super. Thank you, Super Joe.
All right, there we go. Take care of Roll Tide Partners.
Thank you. So Caleb DeBoer definitely is his own man, and he's done a great job so far. We'll see. I don't like to hear people criticizing the coaching staff last year. Dalen Milroe had a great year, but he played terrible in the Texas game, guys. He was throwing the ball right to Texas. And he, against Middle Tennessee, they did use his legs. He ran all over them. So that same coaching staff, you want to criticize them, then criticize Coach Saban. They won the SEC championship, and they were one play away from the national championship. So I still don't understand why we're even talking about criticizing the coaches from last year. To me, it's kind of ridiculous. 2 Men in a Truck. They're at 1330 Martin Road East. That's where you go pick up your boxes, your packing supplies, whatever you need to make this a smooth move. Whether it's local, out of town, out of state, no problem. These guys will take great care of you and your stuff. Moving is very stressful. They will take the stress away. Give them a call today, 205-247-5050. 2 Men in a Truck, movers who care.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good Friday morning. The proposed property tax increase in the city of Tuscaloosa is bringing out the usual opponents to any type of tax increase. Last year, Tuscaloosa County voters rejected a proposed property tax for schools in the county only. Tuscaloosa County School Superintendent Dr. Kerry Johnson says the rejection makes it difficult to accomplish things. The Tuscaloosa ad valorem tax vote is set for September the 24th within the city of Tuscaloosa only. Click TuscaloosaThread.com for more local news all throughout the day. It's free. Don Hartley, Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, TGIF to you. We're a little quiet in the area right now, so that's not a bad thing at all. Taking a look inside the construction zones, that's not even bothersome right now, but they are there. So watch for the cones on 2059 eastbound between Skyland and Tuscaloosa Coaling. Also,
thousands of kids who've been waiting over a year. End their wait. Sponsor a child with compassion today. Just text the word radio to 83393.
Road tripping, business travel, or bringing your car in for repairs. All great reasons to rent a Toyota at Tuscaloosa Toyota. You can rent the latest Toyota models for a day, a week, or a weekend. Every Toyota rental-car comes with 24 hours roadside assistance.
You can shop online at TuscaloosaCDJR.com. At Tuscaloosa Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, you pick it out and we'll work it out. Roll Tide.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Mostly cloudy with a few periods of rain today and tonight. The high today 78, the low tonight 64. Tomorrow partly sunny with only a small chance of a shower, the high 84. And Sunday, a sunny day with a high at 83. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9.
Follow Tide 100.9 on Facebook today to watch our live shows, read the great articles, and interact with Bama fans today.
There you go. So it's so we know that one obviously, which is great. Fight Zone. So shoot us another one when we come back from break on the next one. I want you to do this for me too today, Chase. Make sure you write down Gary's picks and text them to me. I'm so tired of hearing him talk about he was 8-1. Last year he was 1-8 about every week. But good Lord, that boy has promoted that he was 8-1. I'm going to fact check him this week. So please send me his pick. Pressure treated pine from Great Southern. If it doesn't have the yellow tag on it, you don't want it. Get to the Yellowwood hotline. Morning, Philip.
Morning. How you guys doing?
We're good.
Hey, Barry and Wimp, since you guys lived it and breathed it and sweated and toiled in it, did you see the renderings of the practice facility? And I'd like to get your comments on it.
That.
I did not. I knew a little bit about it, but not to the extent of that kind of money. But certainly, I think it means that. I guess it means that the new arena is a long way off, and this is going to be what they're going to go for a while, which is fine with me. But it's certainly a big deal to show the recruits that, I think, and I think it's going to be very, very good in recruiting.
Yeah, I guess they're going to go in the current structure that they have now, Philip. They're going to remodel it for the women, and then they'll add on to it and put the men. So they'll have film rooms, training room, obviously locker rooms, playing facilities there. So that's a big number, $56 million. Good lands. That just seems very, very expensive. But anyway, I know Coach Oates is big on player development. He's big on guys coming in, getting extra work, getting shots in. So I'm sure it'll be first class there because player development is one of their big things. I think they do a good job with that. So that's where they decide to pour their money, and the location is good. So when they do build the new arena, they won't do anything practice facility wise there. It'll just be a competition site only.
Right. Well, it looked really good, and it's going to be a great addition to the athletic arsenal over there, especially the basketball arsenal. I think it's something that sounds like they want to get going on pretty darn quick. I guess.
I think they've already started. I think they've already started on it.
Yeah, they have.
Oh, they have started. Okay,
yeah.
Good. So that's good. And also, just to clean up things a little bit, I saw where Jasper Johnson has committed to Kentucky, and I also saw that Alabama's going to be playing Wake Forest in an exhibition game in Birmingham.
Yeah, Jasper Johnson, one of the top recruits, and he was from the Lexington area. I think Alabama was one of his finalists, but I saw the number 1.6 million. I don't know if that's true. I mean, that's Twitter talk, but I guess if that's what it takes now. And I think Coach Pope, he's got to prove that he can recruit at that level, and that's a good start there, getting Jasper Johnson.
Well, and Lindy's has ranked Alabama number one in their preseason rankings. I'm seeing that too. So now we got to hold on to Coach Oates. It's going to be tough. The NBA is probably really interested in him, and I'm not trying to throw cold water over things. I'm just speaking the truth.
I think, though, you got to look at these guys. Like I heard people yesterday talking about Lane Kiffin going to Florida. But you got to look back and why did Lane Kiffin not go to Auburn? Well, he talked about his daughter who had just come to Ole Miss. She was going to be a high school senior freshman. She said, Dad, you left me once when you left California. I'm going to school here. Don't leave me again. And so when people say that he's not going to leave, I don't think he'll leave and go to Florida. And I think Nate Oates has, he got some younger daughters here in school. So I think until they get out of high school, I don't see him leaving. That's just my opinion.
I hope not. I hope you're right. I hope you're right. I hope they'll leave him alone. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But anyway, going to be a great weekend. Looking forward to it. History, Alabama football history. We don't do that sort of stuff too much, and it's going to be a once-in-a-lifetime experience for the fans that can be there, and I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you, Philip.
Thank y'all. Have a great weekend.
Yep.
Yes.
Barry, let me give my thoughts on these games because by the time we get Ron, the hour will be over. I'll do it very quickly. What time is it now?
It's 7:24. You got about 4 or 5 minutes.
I can get it over with. I think the games, when I look at one with a big number, I did hit last week on the big number with Tennessee. It was 38.5, and I hit that one. That, of course, lost the blue plate. The big number game that I like this week is Louisville. It's moved down since last night to 27.5 against Jack State. If you like to play the big numbered game, I think that would be something you'd want to look at. I like Auburn and Cal. I think Auburn's home field advantage is good. I like Texas and Michigan's +7. A lot of people are, I don't know. A lot of people are liking Tennessee and NC State. It's moved up to 10. Was a little bit more than that. I've got Oklahoma and Houston on here because Houston is so bad, and it's a -28 there. And then the one I tell you, I thought Doug did a pretty good job. The Michigan State Maryland game, Michigan State picked almost at the bottom with Purdue of the Big Ten, 9.5 points against Maryland. Those are the ones that I've looked at. We had a caller yesterday about Kansas State and people like that. I thought that was too much of a gamble. But I'm not a great gambler, but those are the 4 or 5 games that I looked at, trying to decide which one I thought was the best one to make a blue plate out of. So if you have questions about that as we go through the show in this first hour, you can call Barry and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, I think Tennessee Tech's got some players out. They were asking Kirby yesterday about them playing them, and he says, well, they want the check, right? They still want the check. And he understood. But Georgia playing Tennessee Tech, I think Western Kentucky turned out to not be very good, but they are a bowl team normally. But for Georgia to play Tennessee Tech, 54.5 point favorite there, what does that do?
Well, one of the things that happens is sometimes you have to fit your schedule in. Something happens is you lost somebody, you couldn't get somebody, you thought you had this school. I watched Coach Bryant and them go through it. Sam Beatty did a lot of the scheduling for him. But, they were very, very careful scheduling-wise. Beeves pretty much, I don't know how much Beeves got into scheduling when he got there. But it's sometimes it's a little bit more complicated than you think because of dates and who else that you're playing. I think you're right. 54. I wouldn't.
I wouldn't bet that. I'm just thinking, what does it even do for Georgia? Is there going to be any interest in Athens this weekend? Yeah. The line that surprises me, JC, maybe they were listening to our show. That South Carolina line was at 10. It's down to 8.5 now. I don't know.
Yeah,
South Carolina's so bad.
8.5 and 9. Yeah, I saw that. I'm scared of that game. I think it's a gamble.
Yeah. Well, it's always been a close game. Whenever you think when they play so bad, of course they had a weather delay and they went back to the locker room, I think for an hour, came back, and South Carolina did not look good. But sometimes you get those guys' attention the next week when they didn't play very well. And these guys got pride, so they get themselves ready to go. But just on the naked eye, you would think Kentucky would handle them, but maybe South Carolina's better than we realized, and certainly better than they looked week 1. All right, we'll take the break. We'll find out what's going on with the LSU Tigers. How's that fan base over there losing that opener again? We'll talk with Ron Higgins when we get back from break. This is Tide 100.9, 1230 AM WTBC. It's the home of Alabama sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, TGIF to you. We're a little quiet in the area right now, so that's not a bad thing at all. Taking a look inside the construction zones, that's not even bothersome right now, but they are there. So watch for the cones on 2059 eastbound between Skyland and Tuscaloosa Coaling. Also,
Plus, don't miss our grand opening celebration Friday, October the 11th through Sunday, October 13th. And check us out at academy.com with free shipping on purchases over $25.
Mr. SEC Tournament Wimp Sanderson gives you his excellent analysis every weekday on Inside the Locker Room, right here on Tide 100.9.
Chase? Who is that?
It's the Fighting Tigers. That's LSU.
I should have known that. The Fighting Tigers. There we go. Fight song Friday. That's I like the fight songs. Yellowwood Pressure Treated Pine from Great Southern. If it doesn't have the yellow tag on it, you don't want it. I get right to the Yellowwood hotline. He's with the Shreveport Bossier Journal, covering the LSU Tigers. Ron Higgins. Good morning, Ron. How are you?
Hey, Ron.
I'm good. How are y'all?
We're fine. Any thoughts about LSU losing their opener for 3 straight years?
Well, actually, it's 5 straight years now.
I missed it by 2?
Yeah. Well, you must have been asleep for 2 years.
I missed it for 2. Well, I don't. There shouldn't be a lot of fuss about that because they ought to be used to it.
But they're not happy about it. There's a point where there's, the fans are saying, why don't we play some hoopty team warm up with like everybody else does?
Thank you.
And honestly, I don't disagree at this point. LSU is the only team in the SEC to play a Power 4 conference team 5 straight years in an opener.
Stupid.
Mississippi State in the COVID year, UCLA, Florida State twice, and now USC. And in next 2 years, they had Clemson home and home to open the year.
Oh, my heavens. Do they really?
Yeah.
Oh, they open up at Clemson next year?
Yeah, I think it's at Clemson. The year after that, it's Clemson home in Baton Rouge. Year. Yeah.
What's that?
So,
what's the athletic director drinking?
That's what everybody wants to know. That game was, LSU was favored the other day. It was winnable. New quarterback, new defensive coordinator. It's one of those games where, if you would have played even a mid-major, you've been fine. You made some mistakes and still won that game easily. But they didn't, and people weren't happy about it. But, you move on. This week they have Nicholls State here in Louisiana, a 1AA team, which, like last year, everybody said, why didn't you play, they played Grambling last year, the second week of the year. And they said, why didn't you play them the first week, instead of Florida State? But the LSU's in an 0-1 hole again. We'll see how they get out of this one. But
I think their schedule, though, is doable, Ron. Nicholls State, South Carolina didn't look that great. They got UCLA at home, South Alabama at home. They get Ole Miss at home. Arkansas a little bit down. There'll be tough games there in that A&M. The Alabama game at home, but Florida didn't look. That looks doable. Vanderbilt and Oklahoma. I mean, this team could be 10-2, Ron, by the time it's all said.
We go back a little bit, Barry, before you were born, when Johnny Vaught, when Ole Miss and LSU played. Billy Cannon was a great running back there. LSU Ole Miss game was absolutely unbelievable. Ron, I know the history of that is unbelievable, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of electric again. That Ole Miss is gotten good, but I'm interested to see Ole Miss how they play out this year too, because that's the highest they've been picked to finish in the nation. Probably since Archie was quarterback in the late '60s, and Ole Miss hasn't won an SEC title since 1961 or 62, I think. So it's a little bit different when you're picked that high to start a season, and you haven't been finishing that high or had that pressure all year like Ole Miss will have. So that'll be interesting to see that. But LSU's got some things they got to clean up. A couple of really bonehead mistakes by 2 veterans on unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. That just, Kelly was angry. I mean, he was angry the way it played out. He also said, I got to coach him better. But he was, he's angry, and I think he was justified to be angry. I'm going to get your take on this, Wimp. I'll say about this week. It's always been viewed by the general public that maybe coaches. Coaches always take the credit for losses publicly. That's what they do, and maybe if they get angry at their teams, and also the public gets mad when the media criticizes a team, maybe players more so than a coach. Does that change now that players get paid?
Oh, I think to some degree it does with some of those who feel like they're underpaid.
Yeah.
I think the problem that you have there is the calls that you get from home.
Yeah.
The left tackle, he ain't playing worth a crap. I understand he's getting make a lot more than you are. You hardly play at all.
Well, let me ask you this, Ron. If you gave a bunch of money towards a collective and they gave it to DJ Uiagalelei, would you be happy right now?
Well, I'd be really mad. We can't talk about further than this.
That's what I mean. I just think the calls that you get, the guys who and everybody, me included, Barry included, because he's got a son that's out in the play. They all hopped up about it. Never think your guy plays enough.
Yeah.
And now they think not only does he not play enough, he's not given enough.
Yeah.
And I think it affects their at times when you get beat, you don't bounce off that loss and get ready to play very quick. It used to be you could bounce them off that loss, get them fired up to play somebody decently, and get them back. If money is involved in the back of their brain, they don't. As a team, you have to have good leadership with your players to get your team back, rather than the coaches sometimes.
Yeah, that's a good point. It is a good point.
Ron, I want to ask you this, and I hate it when radio guys try to coach, so I'm going to try to coach. That first drive, LSU goes right down the field. They get it down there, and I think you got to have early. We're going to take the points, and so they call a timeout. It's fourth down, and they choose to go for it. Now I know it's being Monday morning quarterback. If they make it, nobody said. But even if they made it, I would have said it was a bad move. I think you got to have a philosophy early. We're going to take the points. When they don't get that, you give all the momentum back to USC, and it kind of drains you there. Is that his philosophy? Well, we're going to go for that. I think you should have taken the 3 points.
I agree with that. I don't think there's hardly anybody at Baton Rouge that agree with that. He said he wanted to see the offense on the field, but it's fine. But you just took 7 minutes off the clock, and didn't get points. So I totally agree with that. Take the points, get something out of it. Feel like you need to feel like every possession counts. To me, it's almost like a coach will tell a team every possession counts. Then he goes and does something like that. To me, that tells you the players, well, every possession must not count. So he feels like even if we miss it here, we can get it back. Or we're going to get points here, we can get it back. I thought that was a mistake. Yeah, absolutely. So that, and everybody else. I think in that game, every point did count. LSU's 2 boneheaded penalties led to 10 USC points.
Do you consider? I think with Ed Orgeron, people would say there wasn't a ton of discipline, and kids are going to be kids. The kid number 2 scores a touchdown. He does the gyrations. I don't know if he shot a guy or whatever. He gets a 15-yard penalty. It's huge. Does Coach Kelly run a discipline program, not just a kid being stupid and learning mistake there, or does that stuff happen a lot, Ron?
No, he runs a discipline program. He really does. Apparently, this kid has emotional problems. As Kelly said this week, we're trying to get him not to be so emotional out there, just play ball. And the thing is, he's I think Kyron Lacy is now a senior, or at least or a junior. Those were the two dumb penalties, the 2 extremely dumb ones were by players who were seniors.
Yeah,
that's what's maddening. You've been around a while, okay? You know not to do dumb stuff. Popping the helmet coming off the field or whatever that is, that's a stupid penalty. To me, what does that matter? It's almost like the NCAA made the college football rules. Some of the dumb NCAA rule book stuff they have in there. It's almost like they filter over the football, made this senseless this penalty. The guy's run to the sideline. He pops his helmet off, and that's a penalty. Really, I think that's stupid. But the one in the end zone was justified, absolutely.
Yeah,
and
it was.
And you can't have mistakes like that. And then LSU's offense, the first time under their quarterback, he threw the ball really well, but didn't run one time. He can run, but he's not a great runner like Daniels. And I don't know if they told him not to run because, we have two backup quarterbacks who are okay, but they're nothing like you, and we need you to preserve your health. But the running game was really nothing. Then they ran 26 times, 19 of them were for like 4 yards or less. Got no blocking. Again, on all RPOs, Garrett Nussmeier, the quarterback, handed off. So after a while, you got a defense going, well, he's not going to run. We'll just tee up on the running back.
Yeah.
Two things I wanted to ask you. First of all, I thought the defense was better.
Yeah, it was better.
I think it's better. You can comment on that when I get through asking the second question. The second question I want to ask you is LSU holding their own and doing a good job in the state of Louisiana where there are a lot of cotton-picking players? Recruiting the state are they doing a good job recruiting in state?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. LSU right now, for next year, has the number 3 recruiting class in the nation.
Good.
They're getting their best players out of here, and they're also getting some really good players elsewhere. So he's doing a good job recruiting. Okay. It's interesting. Think about it just the other day. I mean, and we haven't asked him this question, but we need to. Is Kelly happy where his program is in year 3? From year 3, and I mean, is it different than other places he's been in year 3? But all other places he's had great years in year 3. But again, he didn't have to take over a program that just had 38 scholarship players when he took it over.
Mm.
But still, even with that, are you happy where you are going to year 3, considering you now have the transfer portal, and NIL, all the other stuff? I mean, so as far as building your roster, are you where you want to be yet or not? And that'll be interesting to ask him that question. But he's pretty forthright answering questions. He doesn't back with many questions, and he always gets pretty good answers. So we'll see. But he just he wasn't happy. Look, I don't understand this I guess almost new media or social media or what. A coach at a post game gets pissed off and gets angry, and all of a sudden it's news. Like he can't get mad after a loss. I mean, and get mad that his team did something wrong again. And again, if you listen to his whole post game quote, he takes blame for it. I need to coach him better in this situation. But he says that, and all of a sudden it goes viral, and people go, well, this coach is, it's his coach's fault. He's getting angry at his team. A coach can't do that anymore in public. What the hell's wrong with that?
And people want to analyze whether it was real or not. Like, yeah, it's real. He's frustrated. This guy's lost 3 openers. He knows what that means. It was real, sure.
He's angry, but he has a right to be angry. So all these people, I mean, I call them snowflakes, who go, well, he shouldn't get mad at his team like that. That's it's on him. When is it not on your players after a while? I mean, this guy's a good coach. He's covered this stuff over and over again. I mean, he's told his team, you need to play a full game against these people. You just can't coast. You need to focus. You need to do all these things, and you have all this leadership on this team, and the leaders disappear on you, and you get beat. So he gets a little angry about it, and he's wrong. I don't get it. It's just unbelievable. I mean, I'm sorry. If guys are getting paid now, they need to be even more accountable than ever. Okay, it's now officially a job. Okay,
yeah, sure.
And in any profession in the world, if you don't do your job, your boss is not going to be happy.
Here obviously tomorrow they're going to name the field after Coach Saban. They had a press conference yesterday, and he gets up and talks about the University of Alabama. He said, I will tell you this, the university and this football program did a lot more for me and my family than we did for them, which that's debatable. But have you ever seen a guy that just always kind of, whatever he says, people believe? He always says the right thing, and everybody, well, not everybody, but just about everybody seems to really like Nick Saban. That's kind of rare, isn't it, Ron, in college sports now?
It really is. Because a lot of stuff he says is basic common sense. He's always kind of coached that way. It's almost like he's giving you a life lesson while he's coaching you. It's something you apply to life. I know coaches always say that, but with him, it's kind of true. I've always liked Nick, even when a lot of people didn't like Nick. I understood the way he acted when he coached. Look, every coach has his own way of coaching. All right, no two coaches are alike. And was Nick a little brisk and straightforward? Yeah, but I didn't mind that, and I love the fact that he's transitioned now to another phase of his career almost flawlessly, and he's great as an analyst. And his commercials are funny. They poke fun at himself. I think the people who lined up his commercials they understand Nick and get him, and so they make fun of Nick the way he is. And all of a sudden, I think he's likable to more people, and I think that's good. But the one thing I was impressed with Nick when you talk to his players were how they felt that everything he told them when they were recruiting them came true. I remember Barrett Jones, a kid from Memphis who won the Outland. He told me, he goes, Nick comes in your living room with this big notebook and it's specifically about how your career is going to play out. This is what we're going to do year to year. And he goes, it played out exactly that way. He goes, that's what he does. He foresees his stuff and how he wants to take from year to year and improve you. And I think that's the essence of Nick. He was so prepared for everybody. And good for the stadium being named for him. He deserves it. He really does.
Before we let you go, any thoughts at all on LSU men's basketball?
They got a bunch of guys that are better than last year, but it doesn't mean they'll be. They're still not buying players on the level of everybody else in the conference. Let's put it that way.
Okay. Well, how is LSU's? I know how their baseball NIL is. It's good. How about football? Do they have the money, Ron? Is there enough money around that program? I know it's not A&M and probably even Arkansas, but do they have enough to get whatever they want or be in the running for it?
Yeah, they go. They can get anybody they want. They go after it. But again, you got a coach who people misconstrue when he says, "I can't go up to this guy and try to pay this guy this much money when I got this other guy on this team who will not be making as much money as the guy that I bring in."
Just don't bring that up.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think Kelly's smart in that sense. They got the people they needed. The people that got out of the portal this year, maybe he kind of maybe struck out somewhat on the defensive tackle, even though the guy he got from Wisconsin is not bad. But the positions of need that he got in the off season, those guys are the first game they played really well, much better than the guys they had in the past. So, and he hasn't had to rely on the portal as much this year as past years. When he first got here, there were so many rosters for vacancies. I think he had like 14 transfers first year. It's kind of dwindled from year to year. But even though he recognizes the need to buy people, you got to, unlike Dabo, who really needs to get in the real world if he wants to continue to coach football. You got to go get some guys. You just do.
Well,
your coach at Barry likes a great deal is bringing his McNeese team in here to play Alabama in basketball.
Don't tell that. Ron really likes Will. I think Will Wade's a good coach. I think Will Wade's done. He's done unbelievable.
He stayed on him. He stayed on him, Ron.
Well, I mean, come on. The stuff he did at LSU, he did all that stuff. Now, I mean, let's don't be stupid.
He did all the stuff, and now he can do that stuff that's legal.
Yeah.
That's the point I'm making.
I tell you what, though, he evaluates well. He cheats, but by God, he buys good ones, Ron. When he buys them, he gets his money's worth.
I mean, he's got good guys. If you dealt with Will on a day-to-day basis and the people around him, they liked him, his players liked him. Sure everybody liked Will. Honestly, he's a likable guy. Now, if you're an opposing fan base,
he cheated too early in his career.
Yeah.
I know. When I was like Naj Reed and all those guys, like, good lands, where did he get all these guys from?
Yeah.
So give him credit.
Give him credit. He knows how to buy guys. It's funny. People came after him this past year after McNeese, and he stayed there. I mean, I think he wants to try to do the right thing and stay there for 2 or 3 years before he moves on, because he acknowledges that they gave me a chance when nobody else would.
Yeah. I look at like I said when Hugh Freeze went through all that problem in Ole Miss, like, he'll never coach again, much less in the SEC. Boom, he's back. When Will Wade went through that, I said he'll never coach again. But if you win, Ron, they'll give you another chance, right?
Oh yeah, if you're a really good, you're really a coach.
Especially when Nick Saban interviews you.
Yeah.
He interviewed Coach at Auburn.
Oh yeah, Hugh Freeze. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, winning rehabs a lot of stuff. He kind of paid his dues coming back. I mean, I know Nick wanted to hire him one time in Alabama, and then the SEC kind of nixed that. And he went to Liberty, and he put in his, dues there and came back. So, I think Auburn's better this year in football. It's better than people think. He needed to go buy some receivers. Now he's got receivers. But, the public is willing to forgive people, coaches, 4 or 5 years later, if they come back and do the right things. And I guess in this case with Will, I mean, it really helped the in-state legalize all the stuff he was doing. It was illegal.
Yeah.
And people say, well, look, if he just waited a couple of years, it would have been legal. That's true, but personally, on a day-to-day basis, he's not a bad guy. He's not a guy you would dislike.
Yeah. I bet LSU wishes they had him back, especially now with the way the rules are now.
There's a lot of fans wish he was back. They liked him. They liked it. Was he a little bit brash and arrogant? Yeah, a little bit. But, he would poke fun at himself. And I think fans liked him because he was passionate the way he coached games, and the players liked that too. Again, like I always say, Wimp, I think one of the reasons you were a great coach because you were into games, you were into your players, you were into the fans, you were into the crowd, you were into referees. People like that. They go to a game. They want to see a coach who is invested emotionally as they are. And Will gave LSU basketball fans that. That man is a nice guy. I say that he's a nice guy. They got better last year. Will they be better this year? I don't know. I just you're to the point now that you're as good as the talent you buy.
Yeah, yeah.
We ain't got time to talk about the women's coach, so we'll have to go and get that next time.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Ron, we appreciate it. I think LSU, they may go 9-3, 10-2. Am I off base there?
No, I mean, I'll pick 9-3 before the season.
Yeah.
I think they'll get there. That'll put them on the cusp of the playoff. I don't want to jump ahead to the Ole Miss game because, the way they played last week, you don't take anybody for granted at this point. But that's a huge game for them. because Ole Miss is considered like, you know, the third or fourth team in the SEC that should get in the playoff, and that's kind of like for LSU, that's midway through their 12-game schedule. It's like a playoff elimination game almost. They need to win that game.
Ron, remember now, Ole Miss is going to go for it on 4th and 4.
Well, so is LSU this year. They did it the first game. Ron, thank you, sir.
Thanks.
All right, yes, man. Take care. All right,
thank you. All right, we want to thank Yellowwood, Pressure Treated Pine from Great Southern. They made this 7 o'clock hour possible. If it doesn't have the yellow tag on it, you don't want it.
Go inside the Alabama Crimson Tide with the Gary Harris Show.
Hey everybody, it's Gary Harris. Friday morning, it's the TGIF edition of the Gary Harris Show at 9 a.m. coming to you live from Innisfree Irish Pub on University Boulevard. Technically, they don't open until 11 a.m., but we'll be there at 9, and I bet you'll let you in if you want to come by. We'll have Adam Amin from Fox Sports. I'll have my SEC point spread predictions, our Bama football trivia, giveaway contest, and much more. It's going to be fun on Friday morning at 9 a.m.
Catch the Gary Harris Show Monday through Friday, 9 to 11 a.m. on Tide 100.9 and Tide100.9.com.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. TGIF traffic is actually free-flowing in most of the area. We got 69 up here in Northport. Now that's a little on the slower side. And this is in the southbound lanes of 69 at Union Chapel Road. Intersections logos is really what you have there. And it's got a red line back to Charlie Shirley Road.
Visit us at 3537 Skyland Boulevard East or online at bmwoftuscaloosa.com. BMW of Tuscaloosa. Take your dreams for a drive.
WTBC Tuscaloosa and W265CG Tuscaloosa, a Town Square media station. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Eddie Garcia.
In the NFL season opener, a rematch of last year's AFC title game saw the Chiefs hold off the Ravens for a 27-20 victory. The two-time defending Super Bowl champs were able to get the win when Ravens tight end Isaiah Likely caught a touchdown pass on the final play of the game, but his toe was on the back line of the end zone, meaning he was out of bounds. It was initially ruled a touchdown, but then video review correctly overturned it, and Kansas City gets the win. Quarterback Patrick Mahomes in the victory was 20 of 28 passing for 291 yards with a touchdown and 1 interception. Rookie wide receiver Xavier Worthy had 2 touchdowns, 1 rushing and 1 receiving in the victory. News from the NFL where Steelers quarterback Russell Wilson experienced tightness in his calf muscle. He was limited in practice Thursday, same for 49ers.
To earn free food. At participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only while supplies last. Price and participation varies. Drinks exclude freezes. Tax extra. Rewards program subject to terms and conditions. Points earned on qualifying purchases.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Mostly cloudy with a few periods of rain today and tonight. The high today 78. The low tonight 64. Tomorrow partly sunny with only a small chance of a shower. The high 84. And Sunday a sunny day with a high at 83. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9.
Inside the locker room with former Crimson Tide basketball coach Wimp Sanderson and his son, former SEC and ACC assistant basketball coach Barry Sanderson. It's time to take you inside the locker room on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back to the second hour of Inside the Locker Room. Allstate Insurance agent Andrew Conifer. Andrew is my agent. Let him become yours. Out at 4705 McFarland Boulevard, Suite 3. You're looking for home, life, auto. You want somebody to take care of if you have a situation arise with your home, with your vehicle, whatever you need. Andrew and his staff will know exactly where to send you. That's comforting in itself right there. 205-722-9201. Andrew Conifer, Allstate Insurance. All right, back to the Yellowwood hotline. Get Tom in. Good morning, Tom.
Hey, Tom.
Hey, Bear. Morning, Coach. Morning, Bear. How y'all?
We're good.
You know, Barry, you're right about Gary. He has peacocked that 8-1 ad nauseum, I'm telling you. And you would think that nobody's ever picked football games before.
Especially when he was so bad last year. He finally had one good week, and then I mean, he's texting me. He's calling me. I will bet right now he has a losing record this week because he peaked.
I hope so. My God, I'm not going to be able to take the big one from the end.
Yeah. So you know,
I'll tell you something else too. Yeah. But here's the thing about it, and I love Gary, but he started at midnight on Saturday night. Yeah. You know, when all his pitch cleared, he started hearing social media right away. And, I mean, he didn't let up. He went through all day Sunday and then Monday and then Tuesday when he came back to work.
Yeah.
It beat all I ever seen. I've never seen such peacocking in all my life.
Yeah. He does. So we'll see how he does. I said, well, Gary, you should bet if you're that good. No, I don't bet. So put your money where your mouth is.
There's a dollar involved. It ain't coming out of that pocket.
No, you ain't. That boy is tight. He's tight. Yeah.
Yeah. And
we all love Gary, but.
Oh, ain't that right?
But I promise you, if he has a bad week, I'm going to talk about it as much as he talked about his 8-1.
I like it.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about Ron and everybody and their take on Coach Kelly at LSU.
Okay.
Everybody's missed the freaking point. I mean, I just cannot believe that people sit and listen to another person talk, and the comprehension rate in this country is so low. It's so low.
What do you mean? I mean, what did he...
Well, I'll give you an example.
Explain.
Okay, here we go. Last week in his press conference following the game, he showed some frustration. He slammed his fist on the table. Everybody, oh, look at that. He's this. He's that. That's emotional. He shouldn't have done it. He did do it. He should have done it. He's got all that about hitting his fist. But the real problem here, and he laid it out there for everybody to see. He said on the sideline at the end of the game, we were acting like we had the game won.
Yes.
And we didn't. And he said, that is why I am so frustrated. I'm so disappointed is our behavior on the sideline. Hey, Coach, let me tell you something. That's systemic. That's the system that you're running, and that's what is producing. You do not fit at LSU. You will be disappointed for the rest of your days if that behavior disappointed you at LSU. I've said it many, many times. LSU has never been a talent problem. It's always been a coaching problem, all the way back to Coach Charlie Mack. Coach Charlie Mack said it. He said, Coach Bryant will take his'n and beat iron, and take iron and beat his'n. Now, that's what Charlie Mack said about Coach Bryant, and that describes Alabama versus LSU. Go back and look at the record books. They speak for themselves. And Chip Kelly does not belong at LSU. He is disappointed at not only the sideline behavior, but a lot of other things.
Brian Kelly, not Chip Kelly.
Whatever.
I disagree. I think you can fix that. Now you gotta be consistent every single day, and you gotta drill it in them. And he's right. Nick Saban team would never do that because he wouldn't allow it. But that's why when they were up 50-3 and he put a guy in, he made a mistake, he would rip him. Because
I'm glad you brought that up.
Eventually, he would play when it mattered, and he wanted to teach that guy the right way. So you just got to be consistent with it. I think maybe he feels like he's failed in that area in teaching that.
I think when I was at Alabama with Coach Bryant, they went to LSU and on the night games, and darn, they were hard to beat, and Alabama beat them every time.
Right.
They had personnel as good or better than Alabama did.
Always.
And the Alabama LSU game and the Ole Miss LSU game, those two games, if you're following football, naturally Alabama comes to mind with our listeners, was the game where they really got ready to play.
Exactly.
Sometimes you get ready a little bit more for some teams than you do others. You know that, Barry.
That's true.
They always got ready to play, and generally speaking, they may have lost once, but generally speaking, and it's every other year you go down there. Coach Bryant's teams really played well.
I agree, and I'll say this. I'll say this: if LSU performed in every game like they did the Alabama game, Alabama would be the only game they lost every year. It would be the only game. Ed Orgeron, year before last, or 2 years ago, rolled into Tuscaloosa, and everybody knew he was gone at the end of the year. What that team do? Fought us within an inch of our life.
Tom,
and everybody else all year long.
I think Paul, I may be wrong, but I think in a couple of those games, Paul Dietzel was the coach. He was? Yeah.
Now, I don't remember him, but I read it. You know what I'm saying? I read
I go back a lot further back than you do.
Oh, I know. I love to compare what I read to what you know. It's always interesting to me.
Paul Dietzel was some coach, quite different.
Great coach.
Why do you say LSU can't create it? You're saying, is that the character of a Louisiana kid? What are you saying?
Yes. Yeah, it's culture. It's culture, and I'm saying that Kelly is not going to be able to overcome it because he doesn't understand. Now, case in point, you want an example? I'll give you another. Coach Saban, everybody said, had he stayed at LSU, he'd had just as many national championships at LSU as he did at Alabama. Wrong answer. When
you don't know that. You don't know that.
I do know that. No, I know what I'm talking about. You don't know that I'm wrong.
You're right.
You don't know that I'm wrong. You can't argue that.
You can't say that he wouldn't have. We don't know.
But I'm going to tell you why he left. Here's the thing. I'm going to tell you why he left. Franchione was the coach at Alabama. Dick Saban come to Tuscaloosa and laid it on our rear end something fierce. The next year, Franchione went down at LSU, and he ran Saban and the LSU team out of the stadium at Baton Rouge. The look on Saban's face after that ball game, I knew right then he was fixing to leave there, and it wasn't long before he was in the NFL hunting a way to get to Alabama. Now take that in your pipe and smoke it.
You think he went to Miami thinking, I'm going to eventually go to Alabama?
Every friend that I've got that's an LSU fan in Louisiana says the only reason he went to Miami was it was a path to Alabama. Every one of them say it.
All right.
Okay. All right, laugh.
Well, you can't say he wouldn't have won as many. You don't know. You don't know if he would have or he wouldn't have. That's a hypothetical. I didn't say he would. I didn't say he would or wouldn't. I'm saying you can't say he would. But we'll never know. We'll never know.
He's not won as many at LSU as he did at Alabama.
I mean, but how do we know that?
Well, I tell you what, he ain't won them at LSU yet. I'll stand on that.
You can't win them where you're not at. I agree with that. Now, that I will agree with. So.
And then you got to go, well, why did he leave? If he could have won all that many, because Franchione went down and laid it on his ass. That's why.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I think maybe felt like you.
I love the story. I appreciate y'all letting me.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Tom. I think maybe he thought he wanted to coach in the NFL, Dad. I think he got down there and realized real fast his style in the NFL was a bad mix.
What happened down there was that his wife just didn't see the glamour. There wasn't that kind of interest in Miami football. There was some interest, but not to the point of cheerleaders and being around the players and being interviewed, that kind of thing. And when he decided that he wanted to jump ship, and they were able to get Mal down there, and Mal stayed an extra day and got him. His wife, Miss Terry, was real big in that push. I know that.
I'm saying, but when he went to Miami, Franchione was the coach. He had no idea that was going to explode, and then then Mike Price be hired and fired, and then Mike Shula comes in. So I don't think he went to Miami thinking he's going to Alabama, because who would have known all that stuff would happen? That job would even be open that soon.
Good point.
So, all right, we'll take the break here. Tuscaloosa Toyota. Go to TuscaloosaToyota.com. You can look at the new inventory, the pre-owned inventory. You can schedule service. You can rent a Toyota if you want to try out one of the Toyotas. Rent it, try it for the weekend. I'm sure you'll end up wanting to buy it. Or swing by Skyland Boulevard, see Justin, see David. They'll make you a great deal. Get by there today and tell them that Wimp and Barry sent you. Listen to Tide 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC is the home of Alabama sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. It looks like we now have picked up an accident on McFarland Boulevard eastbound at Veterans Memorial Parkway. You want to watch out for that crash blocking the right turn lane. And so far so good for the Lurleen Wallace and McFarland intersection. That's not doing too shabby right now. As a matter of fact, it is moving as
Department and the men and women who serve every day. Learn more and apply today at jointuscaloosapd.com. That's jointuscaloosapd.com. From
the University of Alabama, this is Crimson Tide Today. It's a daily update on Bama sports, and it's brought to you by Guthrie's. America's original chicken finger restaurant is now an official partner of the Alabama Crimson Tide. For franchise information, visit Guthrie'sChicken.com. Hello again, everybody. I'm Roger Hoover. On Thursday's edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, we were joined by wide receiver Jeremy Bernard. I asked you about Coach Shepard. How about Coach DeBoer? Obviously, you saw what he was like in pregame speeches and on game days with Washington. How about here at Alabama? How does he get you guys motivated, ready to go?
He just beats himself. You know, he just continued to talk to us, continue to motivate us. He encourages us to, you know, just go out there and just do our best every single play. Even if we have a bad play or a tough play, just get over the next play, go 1-0 like he always says, and just continue to dominate throughout the game. He always stays himself, so.
I'll have more in a moment.
Guthrie's Golden Fried Chicken Fingers, an Alabama tailgate tradition. Founded in Haleyville, Alabama in 1965, Guthrie's has been a Bama fan favorite for years. From your hometown to college towns all around, Guthrie's is still serving the family's original Southern fried chicken recipe just like always, fresh, hot, and fast. Make Guthrie's Golden Fried Chicken Fingers the MVP of your next tailgate. Guthrie's, America's original chicken finger restaurant and now an official partner of the Alabama Crimson Tide. For franchise information, visit Guthrie'sChicken.com.
We've got you covered on Saturday for Alabama football against South Florida. Our radio coverage on the network will start at 3 p.m. and you can join the pregame show live at Vector Security Champions Lane outside Bryant-Denny Stadium. Kickoff is set for 6 p.m. and you can listen to the game, of course, across the radio network, the Varsity Network app, as well as watch the Booth Cam streaming live on all CTSN social media platforms. The Booth Cam presented by Yay Alabama. Crimson Tide Today is brought to you by Guthrie's. Crimson Tide Today is a production of the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Mostly cloudy with a few periods of rain today and tonight. The high today 78, the low tonight 64. Tomorrow partly sunny with only a small chance of a shower, the high 84. And Sunday, a sunny day with a high at 83. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9.
Inside the locker room with Wimp and Barry on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Well, welcome back to Inside the Locker Room. We'll get right up here to the Yellowwood Hotline. I won't talk about all his accomplishments this week, Chase, because Dad gets mad when not mad.
Oh,
when I brag about all the things that Coach Sonny Smith does is always a problem.
Is he on?
Yeah, he's on. Good morning, Coach. Good morning, Coach.
On. What are you doing
If I wasn't on, Wimp wouldn't have anything to talk about. Is that right, Barry?
That's right.
What do you got?
How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm okay. We'll start off with NASCAR. Tell our listeners, but we don't have any NASCAR people on our show, so you're our NASCAR guy. So what's happening there?
I tell you what, you need a better NASCAR guy because it ain't nothing happening. There's nothing occurring like big time upsets. There's nothing occurring like somebody's supposed to be running good and running bad. Kyle Busch said it. I saw him on a radio show last night, and he's the guy that you always want to pick as a chance to win a race. He said anybody could win a NASCAR race. He said The motors are all the same. He said whoever has the best set of tires at the end would win. And he said things like people think that happened, but he said the best thing, the hardest thing about winning a race is keeping your car together in the early rounds. Well, he said everybody runs so hard in the first part of the race, not so much in the middle part of the race and at the end of the race. He said, have your car ready for the end of the race, but running not too hard through the middle of the race.
Well, one of the things that happened was they had you changing tires at one time when you and I were on the show, and the guy that you changed tires, you couldn't even get the cotton picking bolts off to get the new tire on there. I don't think your guy won, did he? Did you change tires on the race?
Getting the tires on the fast, if you can't do it right in less than 20-second range. Get them on, get them out of the trip there. You're not doing your job. And of course, I couldn't quite do that. I took 20 on the first car, not all four tires.
That first time they fire you?
Oh, they fired me. I was an honorary tire carrier. I carried the tires up there. I couldn't even get them up there fast enough, so they made me the honorary carrier.
So did you get any kind of credit at all? If they'd have won, would you gotten credit?
Oh, man, the crew always gets credit. You cheer like you did everything. So I jumped up and down just like everybody else. But I was working on Dale Earnhardt's pit crew. You had a chance of winning every time you were doing that.
Did you get a little percentage if you won?
No, you get nothing. Those guys, I don't. If you're asking me a direct question to answer correctly, the purse that they deliver is divided equally among people, with the driver getting the highest percentage of that. And now that isn't always the case. Sometimes they're just paid directly and paid for the work that they do. It's almost like an hourly worker. But sometimes they're in their contract, they will have a split of the winnings. And how it's done today, more so than not, I would not know because I don't stay as close to it as much. But it has been done two ways. Pay them a regular salary to do the job for them on pit road and at the garage, or give them a percentage of the winnings, or a little bit of both. So it's done different by different crews.
Barry, the night before, all the drivers would meet have a meeting or a lunch, dinner, and Sonny would be the guest speaker. And he was trying to make them all laugh.
I'm sure he did. Sonny's funny.
Oh, he didn't do a real. Yeah, he did sometimes. He made them laugh a little. It's kind of like when we go to the quarterback club. He said they didn't laugh as much tonight as they did last time. I said, yeah.
That's because I had to take him, Barry.
I'd get in the car and I'd say, I said, I don't think they laughed as much tonight as they did last year. You don't think they did? I said, oh no, they laughed.
He's jealous, Coach. He's jealous.
What it is, Barry. They didn't laugh as much if I had to take him. If I had to take him, that kind of put a damper on things. You never know.
He would tell the same jokes he told last year, and they could.
Yeah. So did I. They got a double dip, Barry.
Yeah.
Did they pay you for speaking to that group?
Which group are we speaking of? I charge a high percentage.
All those drivers. Did they pay you?
No. I paid when I spoke at the banquet it was sponsored for all the money went to the Alabama School for the Deaf and Blind, so I donated my part also.
Yeah.
Well,
first time we had a driver's auction, your money was to be raised for the Alabama School for the Deaf and Blind. We held it in a library, and Bill Elliott and Jan and I did the show. By the end of it, we were doing it in front of 12 or 1,300 people. All the seats it would sell out. And they were taking in tons of money for the children of the deaf and blind school.
Well, I hope you didn't take any of the money from them. You didn't take any money for speaking.
Yes. I donated my time.
Yeah.
I donated my time and money.
There you go.
You get to be near those drivers.
Get him, Barry. Tell him, Barry.
Coach, I understand tradition. I like tradition. But do we really need to roll Toomer's Corner after beating Alabama A&M? Is that worthy of rolling?
Somebody told me. Somebody said you roll it more when the cost of toilet paper is down. Costs a lot of money to buy toilet paper.
Alabama A&M. We don't. Do we roll it? We roll it when we beat Alabama A&M.
Why, yeah, roll it for every game, man. According to what the cost of toilet paper is this time, I'd think.
Yeah, I'm sure toilet paper's expensive.
Do you use a lot of toilet paper?
It gets a little more every year, doesn't it?
Yeah, do you use a lot of toilet paper?
Did who?
Do you use a lot of toilet paper?
Well, it's a lot better than when I was growing up when we had to use newspapers and leaves.
What had those corn shucks when you were rolling out?
No. We use good leaves that we picked up. Toilet paper was local newspaper. That'd have been good for the way you treated newspaper, man. That'd been good for you.
You wiped on the sports section.
No, but you would have. You would know. I took whatever was left. We had a big family.
Football question. I've run out.
All right, Cal,
I've run out of answers.
Do you know that Cal, Coach, is in the ACC now? So you got an ACC-SEC matchup this weekend with Cal coming to town. What's the excitement in Auburn with the Bears coming? An ACC team.
You know what? I think in cases like that, I think the excitement is for the football program at Auburn. People get a chance to go to a game. Because, I'm not getting that Cal game because not everybody's going to buy up all the tickets, that type of thing.
Yeah.
But I don't think it creates a lot of excitement amongst Auburn people. I think what it does is Auburn people get excited over the team, not what they're playing. And they get more excited if they have a chance to get in a football game, because most of those games are sellouts regardless who you're playing.
Well, if you'll take up the money and sell parking, you'll make some money. And
parking, you always wanted the parking part of it. What was that? He always thought parking was the way to make money. I don't know. What do you think about that, Barry?
Yeah.
I think he's stealing out of the car.
Barry double the price. I guarantee you.
Coach, do you have...
Barry would double the price?
Yeah. You know, Dad's got his little blue plate special every week.
Yeah.
Well, he missed last week, so they're calling it the paper plate special over here right now. Do you have a game you could help him out with that maybe he could pick? You got South Carolina at Kentucky. You got Auburn's a 13-point favorite at home. He needs a winner this week. Can you help him out?
Pick South Carolina because he's got connections there. Pick South Carolina.
How about Auburn? Well, Auburn cover 13 at home. Auburn's a 13-point favorite. Will they cover that?
They sure will.
By a big margin, yes.
They will?
I think so.
Oh yeah. It's gonna be Auburn's day at the plate. They're gonna do it.
Really?
But I thought.
Hey, we're joking around here, but how good do you think the Auburn team is about your callers and the way you've heard what you've seen at this point?
Can you really evaluate? I'm not being ugly, but can you really evaluate them when they play Alabama A&M? I'm not being disrespectful to Alabama A&M. They just don't have the personnel that Auburn does. So it's hard to tell, right?
The resources are the personnel.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
I don't think you can tell how good this Auburn team is until we play 2 or 3 games that are really
people are saying it could be the best receiving core in Auburn history there. So if that's true,
but it's a 3-way deal. You got to block and you got to throw the ball.
They had Pat Sullivan passing to him too.
Yeah, I don't know.
The quarterbacks are not receiving the amount of criticism down here because they haven't had a chance to really see what they can do. They really hone in on the backfield, the guys that are running the ball, the guys that throwing the ball. Not so much about the catchers, more that. Usually, when you're talking to people or you're doing talk shows, they wear that situation out. But I haven't heard a lot of negative things in that area so far.
Well, so you're saying take the Auburn Tigers. Dad'll probably copy off your paper.
I am going to copy off.
Well, he's done that for years, but I've hit it to the point that he's missed a lot.
But he put I don't know, and I put I don't know either.
Yeah.
He only saw the either at the end. That's all he saw. I don't know either. Who are you picking this week, fellas? I want to hear. It's supposed to be a talk show to entertain and.
You don't even know who's playing.
That's right.
I'm asking this one, Coach. Texas is going to Michigan. Texas is a 7-point favorite. They're playing at 11 o'clock on Fox. Texas -7 or Michigan? Who are you taking, Coach?
I'm taking Michigan.
Really?
Great.
Yeah.
Day in the morning.
Here's an interesting one.
You giving me points, weren't you?
You're getting 7 points in Michigan.
I'm getting 7. I'm taking Michigan.
All right. Arkansas is going to Stillwater and taking on Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State is a 7.5.
Better stay away from that one, Sonny.
7.5 point favorite.
I'm picking Arkansas. They play well on the road.
Hey, day in the morning, Sonny. Go get in the bed.
Tennessee.
Well, I am.
Tennessee Tech is going to Athens, Georgia. Tennessee Tech.
I've always picked Tennessee Tech, always, but I think I'll go with the Bulldogs.
But you're going to get 54.5 points.
54 points. You wouldn't
take Tennessee Tech 54.5.
Well, I just took them. I ain't backing off my picks.
We already said Auburn, South Carolina at Kentucky. Kentucky is an 8.5 point favorite there, Coach. Who would you take?
I'm picking South Carolina. I'm going to pick the underdog because that's the way y'all treat me, like an underdog.
All right. Middle Tennessee taking on Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin is a 43-point favorite against Middle Tennessee.
Well, I'm going to watch the paper and see if he's still there because they got him taking every job in the country. So if he's still there, I'm picking Lane.
He's still there. So you're saying take Lane in the 43.
Take Lane in the 43.
How about Alabama at home? They're going to name the field after Coach Saban. They're giving 31 points to South Florida. You taking the Tide or the Bulls?
I'm taking the Bulls.
The Bulls. Buffalo.
Well, shit, I've never won, so I might as well keep up with the tradition.
Because you're full of bull. That's the reason.
Will you tell
I like that.
Buffalo is taking on Missouri. Dad calls it Missouri. It's not Missouri, is it, Coach? It's Missouri.
Missouri.
Yeah, Missouri. And Missouri.
You got to go quick. You don't go Missouri.
He says Missouri. He says Missouri.
It's Missouri.
Well,
Missouri is a 34.5 point favorite over Buffalo.
That's a good.
I think they'll call off the dogs before they beat them that much. I'm picking Buffalo.
You're taking Buffalo. All right, no line on Sanford in Florida. Tennessee is taking on NC State. They're playing in Charlotte. Tennessee's a 10.
Now, this is a serious pick right here. I'll try to be right on this one.
Tennessee's a 10-point favorite, Coach.
I'm picking Tennessee. I always pick Tennessee. I'm from Tennessee. Roan Mountain, because y'all never bring it up.
Hope you're writing all these down, Chase. Will give me his right. Nichols and LSU. Brian Kelly's mad. He hit the table. He's mad. They're playing Nichols, and they're a 51.5 point favorite this weekend.
I always like Dale Brown, so I'm picking LSU.
51 is good. Houston's at Oklahoma. Houston's not very good. Oklahoma's a 28-point favorite against the Cougars.
I don't always like those favorites. I believe I have to pick Houston on that. Who is it?
Houston.
Who's playing who?
Houston's at Oklahoma.
He don't even know.
I'm picking Oklahoma.
Minus a 28. And then the last one, late game, Mississippi State with their new coach is going to Arizona State. Arizona State is a 5.5 point favorite against the Mississippi State Bulldogs.
I always pick the new coach. I'm picking Mississippi State.
You don't even know who it is.
Jeff Lebby.
They always tell you right after the win.
Well, Coach, go watch you some what country western.
Go change some tires.
Go change some tires.
Racing.
Well, I like being on shows where they ask you questions that nobody knows the answer to.
There you go.
And I've been so good at that over the years.
I'm going to have Chase pull the tape. We're going to write down your picks. We'll give
You'll burn the tape.
Yeah. We'll tell you, you can't, hey, Dad's 0-2, so you can't be any worse than that.
I ain't no 0-2. I got a practice game, and he's already charging me for that.
Yeah, so.
He got it. Yeah. If he could read, he'd know who they're playing.
Exhibition game.
Yeah, I let the first game be an exhibition game, but he hasn't gotten a game all year. So
I sure hadn't.
And I think you may have gave him the pick.
I've got some games all year. Don't say that. I've got some.
Who's the pick? Who's he losing on today?
He's going to pick it after after this segment here, so we'll see.
He waits till I'm done, so he gets all his information from me and then makes his pick.
There you go. All right, thank you, Coach.
I guess. Thanks.
Am I going to get to be on again?
Good job on changing those tires. They came in last.
We'll have you on next week. Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, but I didn't know where to put them on the front or the back. I don't change it all for the same time.
All right.
I gotta go.
See you.
Bye.
All right, let's tell them about Bryant Bank. When we get back, we're going to give you the Blue Plate Special. We'll look at it. It's brought to you by Chuck Norwood. Make sure on the tweet that we make sure we say, where's Chuck? Chuck's down in Orange Beach, Gulf Shores area. You're looking to buy or sell. Chuck is your guy. 251-948-1212. Go to chucknorwood.com. Dad, tell them about Bryant Bank before we get to break.
Well, the locations in Tuscaloosa I talk about a lot, the 4 locations, and also the ones in Birmingham throughout the city and one down in Columbiana. And I run right below me, and I hope that you'll go into Bryant Bank, visit with a new banker. He'll show you around, and he'll do a great job of trying to do everything he possibly can to get you to bank with them. They'll do a good job of guarding your money, so to speak. They'll be darn sure that nobody gets into your accounts, maybe a business account you have or a personal account. And you're able to bank online around the clock, which is, I think, very helpful to you. And he's surrounded by a lot of people who know the banking business. If you're trying to borrow money to do something, they can do that very, very quickly for you, because most of the time when you're trying to borrow money, you're trying to do it very quickly. So look at that and see, and tell them that you were listening to our show and heard on Inside the Locker Room, and that you're interested in becoming a part of Bryant Bank. I hope you'll do that. Barry and I do, because we think it's a good deal for you. They've been mighty nice to sponsor our show, and we appreciate it. So go by Bryant Bank and tell them you heard on Inside the Locker Room.
All right, we'll get back from break. We'll have the the Blue Plate special. You listen to Tide 100.9. It's the home of Alabama sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. We are green for go in most of the area for this TGIF. That's always a wonderful thing. You've got a nice smooth ride on 2059 in both the east and west, well, actually in all directions there between 359 and McFarland Boulevard. And speaking of McFarland, all is well right here at Watermelon, between Watermelon and Lurleen Wallace. As a matter of fact, you're moving smooth. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Tammy Thomas.
Road tripping, business travel, or bringing your car in for repairs. All great reasons to rent a Toyota at Tuscaloosa Toyota. You can rent the latest Toyota models for a day, a week, or a weekend. Every Toyota rental car comes with 24 hours roadside assistance.
Savings and rates as low as 3.99. And yes, specials on the all-new Frontier V6. $3,000 instant savings and rates as low as 2.99. See Kylan or BJ today at Townsend Nissan.
Alabama Crimson Tide lives right here.
Down to the pylon. Touchdown, Alabama.
On Tide 100.9.
Welcome back. I like the fight songs to get you ready for college football. I like college football. I'm not a pro football guy. I mean, I'll watch it, but I like the college football. All right, so if you bet 100 last week, you probably lost 110. You lost the juice. So you just bet 220 this week on the Blue Plate Special. You bet 220. Well, he's going to eventually hit. You just keep doubling your bet. Eventually, when he hits, you're up. All right, so you've named a lot of games. Maybe look at the ones.
Well, I'm going to name them again because I think I should. I always look at a large game, a game with a large number. And last week, regardless of what Barry says about me, I hit with Tennessee, 38.5. So I'm proud of that. Yeah. The large game, yeah, I hit on that one. Yeah. You said South Carolina, and you gone broke. Yeah. I like in the large game, it went down a half a point. I'm just going to go through them. Louisville and Jacksonville State. Louisville wants to run the score up because they want to be considered a really good team, and I think that's not bad. So if you like that, fine. I think the other one that I like, besides the one I'm going to pick, is Michigan State, Maryland. Now, I know we could have, Doug Bell picked that one, I think. 9.5 is 9.5 points. Michigan State's not very good. Maryland, you can't ever tell about Maryland, but that's one I had thought about and looked at heavy. Texas and Michigan. Michigan right now gets 7. Texas is awfully good at times. Michigan is not as good as they were. Not anywhere close. Not the coach doesn't even have a new contract. He's just working without a contract. Tennessee and NC State, everybody says take that one. Probably should. Tennessee's moved, I think Barry said, up to 10.
Yeah, it's currently 10.
10, so it's moving up a little bit. At NC State makes it a little bit different for me. Sometimes I think Tennessee's better. 28 points in the Oklahoma Houston game is too many. Because I don't know enough about Oklahoma, but those games those are good games for you to think about. I think the first two. I'm sure our sponsors won't like it at all, but I'm picking Auburn. I'm taking Auburn and the 13. That's going to be my blue play.
All right. So
the reason I'm doing that is because of home field advantage. I think the home field advantage there is going to be humongous. They've got one of their running backs that's bungled up. And I decided I'd go. I went with home field advantage last game and failed. Because I said A&M and so did Coach Saban said A&M. But I'm thinking I'm less than the 2 touchdowns at 13 points. So I'm blue plate in Auburn.
All right, so you're taking Auburn. And I think Hugh Freeze, he's trying to jerk his pants up. He's the offense coordinator, so he wants to score as many points as he can because he likes to make himself look good. So we'll take Auburn. Will that game be a sellout?
You can get tickets. Probably be a sellout, but probably you can get tickets.
Yeah.
Not a hard sellout.
Not a hard. So we'll see about those receivers for Auburn. Been a lot of talk about those guys. Cal, you got to fly all the way across the country to play. And Cal's an ACC team. So we'll see how that. That Tennessee NC State. That game's actually in Charlotte. What's Charlotte to Raleigh? I don't know. It's about a 2-hour drive. So I would think there'd be as many Tennessee fans in that stadium as there will be NC State.
Yeah, I think so. And I think Tennessee's awfully good. And I think Louisville thing was a big score like that. It started at 28, which doesn't no big deal. 27.5, although it does take away the 4 touchdowns if you kick the extra point. So games are fairly difficult to pick. The transfer rule has got you by the you-know-whats. You don't know. New Mexico, I said something about the Vanderbilt game last week with Virginia Tech. And for whatever reason, I did not catch that Coach Kill from New Mexico, the one that had beaten Auburn, and the quarterback had moved to Vanderbilt. And so I ran my mouth wrong, and so I was very careful this week and said that they didn't have any transfers. Well, they had some transfers, and Virginia Tech was supposedly, all the studying I could do was going to be really good. And so I looked at that game real hard. I didn't take it. I'm glad I didn't. And Vanderbilt comes back and wins because Coach Kill comes in with their offense with the new quarterback, and I didn't catch that.
Here's the question: will Chuck Norwood take Auburn?
No, probably not. That was probably he probably want to pass on this one.
Yeah, Chuck, he brings you the Blue Plate Special, Remax down in Gulf Shores.
You get advertised anyway.
Yeah, buying or selling. Now's a hot time to buy. down at Orange Beach Gulf Shore. You get great buy for your money. You can rent those things. They can stay rented. Snowbirds will be going down there soon, but you'll also have your own place there. So Chuck knows the area inside and out. He knows what's a good buy. He knows what you need to do there. So if you're looking to do that, chucknorwood.com or give him a call, 251-948-1212. Does Alabama cover the 31 on Saturday?
I'm not sure. I'm not as sure that as I was with the quarterback at Western Kentucky. I'm gonna double talk you. They should, but I'm not sure. I wouldn't touch it myself because I don't know. Phillips come on here and told everybody how good offensively South Florida is, or how good they're supposed to be. I think Alabama's defense is terrific. They're well coached, and everybody would be.
Is that the same Phillip that had Alabama losing 3 games and now it's got them 12-0?
Yeah, the other factor too is the excitement over coach at the halftime being the field being named after him. You know, when they named the field after Pat Dye, nothing's ever said about it. That Coach Saban's is not going to be like that. They'll have the signs up Saban Field forever.
Oh yeah.
On Pat's deal, they've done very little to recognize Pat with the naming of the field, and I think it'll be bad. That's not anything slight on Pat. It's just that it just kind of came down like that. Sometimes stuff comes down like that, and you just don't think much about it. But I've thought about that in Coach's case because of what all he did, and then it'll always be referred to as the Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium, I assume. So,
all right, we'll take the break here, then we'll turn it over to Gary, who's down at Innisfree. I think Gary's saying he could get you in Innisfree, and maybe Gary can buy you a meal if you go in there.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, right. I doubt it, but anyway. All right, you listen to Tide 100.9. It's the home of Alabama sports.
Go inside the Alabama Crimson Tide with the Gary Harris Show.
Hey, everybody, it's Gary Harris. Friday morning, it's the TGIF edition of the Gary Harris Show at 9 a.m. coming to you live from Innisfree Irish Pub on University Boulevard. Technically, they don't open until 11 a.m., but we'll be there at 9, and I bet you'll let you in if you want to come by. We'll have Adam Amin from Fox Sports. I'll have my SEC point spread predictions, our Bama football trivia, giveaway contest, and much more. It's going to be fun on Friday morning at 9 a.m.
Catch the Gary Harris Show Monday through Friday, 9 to 11 a.m. on Tide 100.9 and Tide100.9.com.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. We are green for go in most of the area for this TGIF. That's always a wonderful thing. You've got a nice smooth ride on 2059 in both the east and west, well, actually in all directions there between 359 and McFarland Boulevard. And speaking of McFarland,
try their juicy burgers and hand-breaded chicken fingers with one-of-a-kind Irish Gold sauce. We will see you at Innisfree Irish Pub, 1925 University Boulevard, downtown.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Mostly cloudy with a few periods of rain today and tonight. The high today 78, the low tonight 64. Tomorrow partly sunny with only a small chance of a shower, the high 84. And Sunday, a sunny day with a high at 83. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9.
You're listening to Inside the Locker Room with Wimp and Barry, only on Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Barry?
Yes.
I'll just go ahead and ask you publicly. Have you done anything at all about calling DirecTV about this problem we have?
I haven't called them yet. What's he going to do? If you call them, the person you're going to be mad at has no say-so in this. It's some guy answering the phone. So, do you think calling them's going to help?
I don't have any idea. I swear I called you. I asked you. I don't know if it will or not. I have an account with them. It's the loyalty account because I've been with them so long at two places, and I finally got by all the little secretaries to the loyalty account the last time,
I talked to him, and it wasn't about this. Before this happened, I don't think this is going to be good.
So I'm going to have to find another way to go watch the game unless I don't know if I'm going. I don't think I'm going. So, but we'll be able to get the Texas game. That's on Fox. So,
be good.
But you won't. Okay. All right. That's it, for today's show. Gary is out at, Innisfree. Should I go by there and see him, Chase, and pick on him?
Go ahead.
Gary's bragging about his 8-1. So just make sure you, make sure he does the line right as well. Look at the current line, and when he picks it, I want you to text it to me. You get your pen and paper out. Gary's my guy. I like picking on him. And we'll see how he does. That's it for today's show. Auburn Tigers is the Blue Plate Special, so I guess he's going to Auburn now to try to win. So just double your bet up. And if you lose this one, then you got to double it again next week. Just keep doubling. Eventually, he's going to hit one. You listen to Tide 100.9. It's the home of Alabama Sports. Have a great football weekend, everybody.